Hello friends, Joe from Reverb here, and today we're here to talk about beginner guitars. Let's begin. Okay, you're buying your first electric guitar. It seems there are millions of options. What are the considerations? First of all, just because a guitar is more expensive, that is not going to make you a better player. Case in point, go to any law firm, ask any attorney, prosecutor, or defense to play their most practiced riff on their $100,000 Les Paul Burst. How's it sound? On the other side of the spectrum, if you just find the cheapest guitar that you can buy, it might not inspire you to play. The action might be this high, you might be cutting your fingers on the frets because it's not cut well. That's not going to make you want to play it. So, in this middle ground, thankfully, today, there are awesome options that are form-fit for striking that balance. Beginner guitars that are made well and affordable, and if you don't end up playing guitar, don't end up pursuing after a couple years, you're not going to feel badly about having spent this amount of money on a nice instrument. Okay, we're going to talk about beginner guitars for all different types of players, young kids and adults. Let's assume that you are buying an electric guitar for a kid or a young teenager. An important consideration is the size of the instrument. A 3/4 size guitar is probably the best option. Imagine you right now in your life trying to learn how to play a guitar this big. It's the same thing, right? A kid needs a smaller instrument to make the shapes, to visualize more simply the shapes that they're making on the fretboard. It's a better learning environment, it's more accessible. There's a myth around this consideration that a kid will just grow into a full-size instrument. And I hear that a lot, and I would try to avoid that because what a kid needs when they're learning an instrument is they need to be inspired and they need to see results day after day, which they will on a 3/4 instrument. Not that I haven't seen kids excel on a full-size instrument, but the ones who start on the 3/4 instrument are able to more quickly adapt to what's going on under their hands. They want an instrument that's going to be sitting on their bed or on the couch that's calling out to them to play. And if they can see that guitar and they know they can make that D shape, they can make that bar chord, they can play that riff, that's going to get them playing more often. The first guitar my parents bought for me was an Epiphone 3/4 size Les Paul Jr. all black. It was amazing, and I was the most rock and roll kid on the block. I have so much nostalgia for that instrument, and so I'm so happy to see that to this day, that same brand, Epiphone, is making the coolest, most well-made 3/4 size electric guitars in the Power Player series. These guitars are modeled after some of the most iconic guitars ever built, the Gibson Les Paul and the SG. These guitars from the 50s and 60s that are synonymous with rock and roll and punk rock, and many of the artists that we love and look up to most certainly at some point played one of those models. I was just playing the Power Player SG, and it plays so well. It honestly plays better than some guitars that are triple the price. It really does. It's awesome. I remember my first guitar playing really well, not having problems with it. This plays better than that. It's well made. Everything, the evolution of Epiphone in these guitars is definitely in focus here. It's awesome. Ice blue and lava red. Those are the coolest colors. What else do you need? These guitars are $279. That includes a gig bag, cable, and picks. So it's like almost everything that you need to really get rocking. Another awesome thing about these instruments is that they have the same tonal feature sets as their more expensive counterparts. So no matter if you're playing one of these guitars or you're playing a thousands and thousands of dollar vintage SG, you have the volume knob here, the tone knobs here, the pickup selector here. So you are immediately able to develop your own tastes and evolve your own sensibilities, shape your own tone the same way that you would on these other guitars. You're entering into the world of tone shaping and sound sensibilities to your own tastes right off the bat. It's awesome. That $279 price tag reflects the quality and the playability of these guitars. I would play one of these on a gig and not worry about it going out of tune or falling apart or anything like that. And if you're looking for something that's a little bit less expensive than that, but still has the cool aesthetic of rock and roll and R&B and punk rock, let's talk about some instruments from Squier. Squier has what's called the Mini series. They have a Mini Stratocaster, a Mini Jazzmaster, and a Mini Bass. And these are modeled after, again, iconic guitars from their parent company, Fender. These guitars are associated with all kinds of different genres, from country to surf to emo to alternative and indie, all kinds of stuff. They're gonna have distinct sound and a distinct look, different from the Epiphone. Just another awesome, affordable option. These are $199 new. You can certainly find them less than that used on Reverb. Now, if you have a little shredder on your hands that wants to learn all the metal riffs, the SG or the Les Paul would be awesome. But also, if you want to further hone that aesthetic for them, Ibanez makes an awesome 3/4 size guitar, and the Squier Micro. This guitar has the metal look, feel, playability, and you can get it for 170 bucks brand new. There are other brands that make really great 3/4 size guitars, including Vox and Hofner. These ones that we mentioned here today are just some of our favorites. But before we move on from 3/4 size guitars, let's talk about something even smaller, the Loog Guitars. They make these awesome little guitars for toddlers. They make a 3-string instrument. These guitars are so cool, they have such an awesome aesthetic. This is in the inspiration side of things. Yes, a toddler is going to maybe learn a bit about their dexterity. Maybe they're going to start developing a bit of muscle memory, but maybe even more importantly, that inspiration and that kind of like feeling like a rock star thing will happen probably immediately with a Loog guitar. And after all, big things have small beginnings. Okay, let's say you or the person you're buying for is in junior high or high school or adult. These brands that we've mentioned offer, for the same price sometimes, or sometimes just a bit more, full-scale instruments based on the same models. First, let's talk Squier. The most affordable full-scale instruments from Squier are the Affinity series. They make a Stratocaster and a Telecaster, two of probably the most famous model guitars from Fender. Now, if you want to take that extra step, the Classic Vibe series from Squier offers a whole new array of options of tons of different models from Fender's past. These guitars go from about $225 used on Reverb up to into the 300s new. Okay, now let's jump over to Epiphone. Epiphone's most affordable full-length model is the Special series. You can get these guitars for $150 to $200. They come in the SG and the Les Paul. A step up from there is going to be the Standard series, which is going to have more tone control, some more color options, more look options, and those go for about $275 and up. Okay, let's talk Ibanez. The aforementioned Squier Micro is based on their Squier series. So this is their affordable, full-length guitars, fast action, metal-looking playability in the $200 to $350 range. These include a deluxe, even a 7-string guitar. Other brands on the hard rock and heavy metal side of things, like Kramer, ESP, and Jackson, also make really cool, affordable, well-made beginner instruments for your heavy metal enthusiasts. A question you're probably having right now, if you're shopping on Reverb, you're seeing new guitars, you're seeing used guitars. Do I buy new or do I buy used? Okay, you might want that brand new thing right out of the factory, right from the brand. That's cool. But also, let's talk about buying used. Most people take pretty good care of their instruments, and if you buy a used guitar, there's a good chance that you're buying pretty much the same guitar for less money. Whether you buy new or used, the best thing you can do is right when you get that guitar, take it to the guitar shop and ask for it to be set up. That basically means the guitar gets adjusted in various ways to make it optimal playability, in tune, ready to go. Okay, so you've got the guitar. It's an electric guitar. It needs to be electrified. You need an amp. And before you're thinking, wait, oh my goodness, an amp, how am I ever gonna sleep if I have an amplifier in my house? Don't worry, every amp that I'm about to mention is not only super affordable and super cool, but has a headphone output jack. I remember the first amp that my parents bought me that had a headphone output jack. It was a big day. It was a big day. It was as much a gift for them as it was for me. Let's get into it. The Boss Katana series has amps of all sizes from the $99 Mini Katana on up. They all include digital effects, which will let your beginner begin to explore new sounds right out of the gate and sound like they're heroes sooner. These amps are used as practice amps by lots of adult players as well. Fender has a similar series of amps, the Mustangs, that are also built ruggedly and feature onboard effects. The Mustang LT25 is the smallest of the traditional combo amp style, but the Mustang Micro is a clip-on personal headphone amp that's even smaller. Another great option is the Positive Grid Spark 40 or Spark Minis. These amps give users the options to select many different amp tones and effects, and also sync up with Bluetooth for easy lessons from phones or tablets. There are some other kind of really simple bare bones amps. A lot of them come in these beginner guitar and amp packages. Those don't typically sound great, and they definitely don't have this expanded feature set to dial in different tones and kind of like explore that in different ways. That's why I mentioned these other amps that are still very affordable, but have so much more to offer. That's what this whole video I think is about too, is finding these instruments that are well made and that are cool and that allow a beginner to explore and develop their own tastes and sensibilities, to be inspired to play it every day and to be able to discover new things about sound and about how they're creating sound. If there's any of these that we mentioned today that you already love, let us know in the comments. You can find everything here on Reverb. Hope you really enjoyed this video, and good luck on the hunt for your beginner guitar.